Hi, I'm Sandy Schroeck, and today we're going to talk about why the elements of design are important when we're choosing our product that's going to make up our arrangement. When we talk about the elements of design, what they really are the physical characteristics of the materials that are in the arrangement. So one of the first things that is the most prevalent is color. And color is the visual response that you see to the light reflected off the flower. With color, there's a variety of factors to consider. Number one is the base hue. Here you can see that we have shades of magenta. That really goes back to the base hue of being red if you go down to the primary color. But on this, in that hue, we have different values of that color. So there's going to be different tints, tones, and shades of that color that you're going to take into consideration. So the tint has some white that's added to it, the tone would have gray added to it, and the shade would have black added to it. The other factor is the chroma, which is the intensity of that color. So it just means that the way that you look at it, if something's a little bit more washed out, it has a lighter chroma. If it's more intense, like this Hot Shot Rose, it has a darker chroma. So you can see that it varies by the intensity of those components. Form is our next element that we're going to take a look at. And form is the base shape of the components. So here you can see that I have a variety of round flowers, and the overall shape is round. And so on that, what I want to do is add in some other form flowers that are going to add visual interest in. So something like the Alstroemeria and the Dianthus that have different shapes, a little bit more unique shapes, and maybe something that would be like a line flower. So mixing in with those round shapes to add visual interest and create lines throughout the design. Size is the next thing to consider. So size is really the physical dimension. So it could be, you want a variety of sizes. And so we take a look here, like at the Ranunculus and the Scabiosa coming in. And then I have repetition of shape, kind of with that Scabiosa, and then coming into that Chrysanthemum, into the Gerbera Daisy. And then coming in with like a base that comes into the Dianthus. So there you can see that gradation of size is going to be able to help you form lines within the design to establish those visual pathways and to make it feel like those components all go together even though they're different. Another thing to consider that's an element of design is texture. So texture is the surface quality. Here we see a Dianthus that's like fluffy like a pillow, the Alstroemeria that is more feathery, composite flowers that like the Dianthus that has multiple little blooms. We also want to consider texture when we're talking about the greens. Here you can see I've got some dark green, glossy textures that are coming in the foliages with the Kunti palm and the Nagai, and then kind of more of a feathery texture that comes in with the Agonis. And fragrance is something people are craving now, so stock is one of those that adds that great fragrance. Carnations have that sweet fragrance, and there's a variety of other factors to take into place. So those are just some of the elements of design that we would take into consideration and how to use those to choose the different materials that you would have in your arrangement. So here you can see our completed design. And you can see all of those different elements, starting with color, the different forms of the flowers, different sizes, the different textures, and that addition of fragrance. Those are just some of the physical characteristics of this arrangement that would be the elements of design. So we need to take all those things into consideration when we're choosing product, and you're going to get a design that has lots of visual interest and really is going to be pleasing for your customers. I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Educates, and I hope I've inspired you to make some fabulous florals.